The legend of Odin and the dark divinity. Whispered through the ages, the tale of Odin has been passed down from generation to generation, and though many have forgotten, the legend still lingers in the wind, sighing through the trees, rustling the leaves with secrets no mortal should know. This is a tale to send shivers down the spine, a warning to all who dare walk the land when night falls. For Odin, the dark divinity, is never truly gone. Long ago, in the icy realms of the north, there was a warrior like no other. His name was Odin. A man of towering strength, he walked the earth with the weight of many battles upon his broad shoulders. His hair, wild as the storms of winter, framed a face as sharp and hard as the mountains themselves. His eyes, gray, stormy, held wisdom beyond his years, but they were also the eyes of a man who had seen too much bloodshed. He was a hero, sworn to protect, and his sword, the mighty 𝐼𝐻𝐻𝐿, was as legendary as the warrior who wielded it. But no weapon, no matter how great, could escape the darkness that was destined to find him. One fateful day, as the winds howled through the ancient trees of a valley, Odin met Lady Earth. She was no mere woman, but a protector of the earth itself, her auburn hair bright like trees in the autumn, her robes green as the luscious forest, and her eyes as like emeralds bright as the stars. Her presence calmed the storms, soothed the wild beasts, and brought peace wherever she went. But her peace was threatened, for dark forces, ancient and vile, sought to steal her power. Odin, the noble warrior, vowed to defend her. He took up his sword, the 𝐼𝐻𝐻𝐿, forged with powers beyond mortal comprehension, and stood between Lady Earth and the approaching doom. But the sword was cursed, its dark magic feeding on the very souls of those who wielded it. And when Odin, in his valiant effort, raised the sword against the forces that sought to destroy Earth, the curse took hold. The transformation was horrific. Odin's once human form twisted, warped by the sword's malevolent grip. His heart, once full of nobility, was consumed by the sword's darkness. His towering frame grew even larger, the very air crackling with rage. His eyes, once kind, burned with an infernal fury, and his face, though still handsome, twisted into an expression of pure wrath. He no longer resembled the hero who had come to save Lady Earth. He became a primal force, a dark god of destruction. With a roar, he mounted Sleipnir, his great eight-legged steed, and with the 𝐼𝐻𝐻𝐿 in hand, he became a terror that ravaged the land. Lady Earth, though full of sorrow, knew what must be done. She called upon the very earth itself, and, with the last of her strength, sealed Odin beneath the valley. But the cost was great. Lady Earth gave her life encasing both her and Odin in shimmering crystal in the process, her power sinking into the land she loved so dearly. The valley, now called Earth's Gift, became a sacred place, a reminder of her sacrifice, but also of the terrible price paid to stop the dark divinity. Yet, as with all ancient things, darkness cannot be confined forever. The legend says that even after Odin was sealed away, his presence could still be felt. When the enemies of Lady Earth rose again, when the forces of darkness threatened the land, Odin would awaken from his deep slumber. His power could not be silenced, and it would seep through the earth like an old, forgotten curse. And when Odin hunted, the land itself changed. The winds howled with unnatural force, the skies darkened with an unsettling greenish hue, and a thick fog, dark and oppressive, spread like poison through the forest. The trees groaned and creaked as if they, too, were afraid of the coming storm. The fog was thick with the stench of death, swirling in deep shades of green and blue, and those who wandered into the shroud under its curse never returned unchanged, if they returned at all. The air felt colder than it had ever been, and the earth seemed to pulse with a heartbeat that wasn't quite human. The whisper of Odin's name was carried on the wind, and it struck fear into the hearts of even the bravest souls. The people spoke in hushed tones of the warrior who had once been noble, who now stalked the woods like a hunter after his prey. They spoke of how Odin's fury could not be quenched, how he hunted the enemies of Lady Earth, those who dared to upset the balance of the world. For centuries, the stories continued, growing darker, more twisted. Those who ventured too close to the shroud in the dead of night would hear the clattering of Sleipnir's hooves, echoing through the trees like the toll of a death bell. And in that moment they knew Odin was near. As the years passed, the whispers grew louder. The Order of the Twin Adder, a group of brave soldiers, knew the stories all too well. They sent their finest adventurers into the heart of the Black Shroud to face Odin. What they encountered was the embodiment of terror, Odin, towering over them, his 𝐷𝐄𝐿 glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light. The battle was fierce, but in the end, they managed to force Odin to retreat into the shadows, vanishing like a nightmare slipping into the dark. But though the warriors succeeded in defeating Odin for a time, the sword, the 𝐷𝐿, remained, a cursed relic of an ancient evil. A soldier, entrusted with the sword to keep it safe, fell victim to the dark magic that whispered from within its blade. And so, the cycle began anew. The soldier fled, carrying the cursed sword with him, knowing that Odin's return was inevitable. And so it was, that years later, a mysterious figure named 𝐼𝐽 sought to unleash the primal once more, bringing forth a new form of Odin, Lunar Odin. This new version, stronger and more terrifying, sought to bring even more destruction, but the brave adventurers, as always, rose to face him. But no matter how many times Odin was defeated, no matter how many times his form was banished from the world, the curse of the 𝐷𝐿 would never die. The legend of Odin, the dark divinity, is one that will never be forgotten, for as long as the sword exists, Odin's spirit will never rest. And so the tale goes, passed down through the generations, a chilling reminder that some darkness never fades, and some spirits never leave. When the fog rolls in, and the trees begin to groan, remember this: Odin still stalks the Black Shroud, hunting those who would threaten the balance of the world. And should you hear the thunderous clatter of Sleipnir's hooves in the distance, you will know, Odin has awoken. Be wary, dear travelers. For when Odin hunts, the earth trembles, and no one is safe from his vengeance. This is the tale of Odin, a story both feared and revered, a story that lives on, not in the past, but in the very shadows we walk beneath today.